Land back, land back. Welcome back to Critical Mass. My name is Chief Felix. I rep the nation of Africa and I use they, them pronouns. I once again have some incredible guests with me. I'll let Chief Rohan introduce himself. Go on ahead, Chief.
Land back, everyone. Yes, I am Chief Rohan. I represent the nation of Aboriginal Australia, and I use he, him, and zero pronouns. And then here's Oju.
Hey, I'm so excited to be on Critical Mass Land Back. My name is Chief Oju. I represent the nations of Africa and breakin, and I use he, him pronouns. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so glad. Thank you for having us, Felix.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited to get into our topic today. As I was watching the intro show, I saw that it was mentioned, so I'm glad we get to talk about it. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence today. What is artificial intelligence? How do y'all think about artificial intelligence? How the colony uses artificial intelligence? And all of that goodness. And I think it's a really cool topic, something a lot of people have questions on, something that's like talked about a whole bunch, but like is never really explained. So I'm really excited to like break it down a little bit, explain it. Yeah, talk about artificial intelligence. How are y'all feeling about this topic?
That's it. I actually really kind of like this topic a lot. And like the reason I like this topic is something that like kind of seems bad now, but bad then, but now that I look at it, I can laugh because I'm not there. But like, so I was just like, I spent a lot of time on like online apps and like these random chat groups and things like that. And apparently, just the way I came off, I just sounded too intelligent to be a real person. So it was literally just a running joke in like just about all of my chats that I was an AI. And so this whole time I'm like, I'm not an AI. And they're like, oh, you totally are. That's just what an AI would say. And I'm like, well, dang it. How do I prove I'm not an AI? And so that's kind of how I got into the topic of artificial intelligence because people started making fun of me for being an AI. And now I can probably be an AI and be proud of it. Hashtag AI pride. How about you, OG?
I'm excited to learn about this. I mean, the first time I heard the phrase artificial intelligence was that movie that came out, I think, like in 2000 with Haley Joel Osment, where they didn't know if he was like a robot or not. And that was the first time I heard it. I was like, "Oh, is this like ET AI? Like this has something to do with outer space, something really fantastical." I didn't think it was like really real. But then as I got older, I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is like real technology that people use to make real things." And I'm excited to like learn more about it. I'm excited to like talk about how it affects colonialism, how it affects us, colonized people. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, land back. So I just want to jump into the first question because I think AI is talked about so much. So many people have different ideas of what AI is, what it does. So yeah, I want to ask y'all, and then I'll think of my definition of AI. So I'll toss back to Chief Rohan. What do you think of as artificial intelligence?
So, for my definition of artificial intelligence, like I see it as intelligence that's just like have a little sweetener to it, like artificial sweetener. Let me stop. No, so what artificial intelligence is, like my definition is basically just, intelligence that's formatted differently. Like it's literally just a different mode of thinking, but one that you have, I guess, in a way, less control over, like different from humans and animals. Like machines have this other form of intelligence, but we created it kind of. And it's sort of like under our control in a way. That's like the definition that I have for artificial intelligence.
Mm, yeah. I would say my definition is pretty similar to Rohan's. Yeah, it's intelligence that's put into machinery, but then it's the question is, does the machine have the capacity to make new decisions that weren't told to it before? And like, um, and that's almost, I guess, like when we think of like intelligence, is that like free will? Does the machine have free will all of a sudden, right? Um, and so, yeah, but yeah, I agree with Rohan's decision. I unite with it. That's similar to how I see it.
Yeah, Lembeck, I really like both of those definitions and how you described it in particular, Chief Oju. We'll get into it a little bit later, but that's like strong versus weak AI. How I kind of think about AI is being able to formulate our human thoughts so unbelievably precisely so that a human, I'm sorry, not a human, so that a computer can understand it. Because computers don't think, they don't have that capacity to think, so we're trying to teach them how to think. So it's like, what makes up our thoughts? How do we make these particular decisions? Can I write these decisions down in a way so that like a computer can theoretically follow these steps and learn from it? And trying to find that precision, the amount of precision to formulate this thing that feels so innate to humans and animals and so many other things, and teaching it to a computer. But this computer can learn how to think like us in a few different ways. And I think the best way to really talk about this is by jumping right into our video about strong versus weak AI, because I think that really breaks down like the different ways that we can kind of teach a computer to do these things. Because like you were saying in your definition, Oju, it can be trying to get a computer to like think like us and like make new decisions that like we don't even know, but it can also just be like just making decisions based on past data and like analyzing those decisions. And that's different than, trying to make new decisions. So let's get into this video of what strong versus weak AI is. And then let's keep talking about AI and kind of how we feel about that a little bit. So let's pull up that video so we can talk about it, because I didn't know there were two different types of AI. Honestly, when I was doing this, I I thought it was only humans or data. I guess I'm more familiar with like the data type, but I feel like oftentimes we hear about the computers learning more about humans. So I don't know, kind of interesting. So yeah, let's go on ahead, or if we can pull up that video. But if not, so there is a lot of definitions of strong versus weak AI. And like I said, data can also have a lot of problems, so it's important to analyze this data. That's something that computers are really good at, and that we're not really good at. Is looking at all sorts of different types of data. Data has all sorts of different types of variables. It can be really overwhelming. Being able to formulate that data, oftentimes working with multiple variables. I remember when I first did my first equation working with like more than two variables, it was like thousands of variables trying to deal with this data. I was like, you're kidding, I just did thousands of variables. But like we can do that as humans, but computers are even better at some of those calculations. So sometimes we can find like more insight and other things when we're doing this, because humans can make mistakes, but also these algorithms that humans create can also make mistakes. And we'll talk about that a little bit too. But yeah, it really just depends on the data that we're looking at, and also the type of machine learning algorithm that we're trying to look at. Can really depend on the type of data that we're doing, and like the goal of what AI is, because we got to ask ourselves what problem we're trying to solve. We're trying to be precise about what we're doing. And if I'm interested in, I don't know, like face recognition or something like that, like the data I need, the algorithm I need is going to be completely different than like a denoising algorithm or something like that, which exists in like all of our phones. So I think all of that is really interesting. And then again, like the different techniques that you're going to have to use for those particular algorithms. So yeah, did y'all know that there was strong versus weak AI? I mean, I wasn't really familiar with that.
No, I had never heard of it. I'm excited to see what we're gonna see in this video about it, because like I didn't know there was any difference. Yeah, not at all.
I was like semi-aware, like because like again, as I said, when it was revealed that I was an AI, that's when I started like looking into it to see like, okay, how do I convince these gonna find a nice word. How do I convince these humans that I'm not an AI? And so, like, that's kind of where I went into my research from there. And then I saw that it was mentioned, and I'm like, I don't care about all that. I want an AI. And so, yeah, I knew it existed. I just didn't care to look any deeper into it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. That's why I love this show. We get to break it down for all y'all who are watching right now, because this is stuff that we're interested in. We know that all colonized people are probably also interested in this, but the colony mix is so unattainable. So it was fun for myself to learn about this, because like y'all, I also didn't know two types exist. I kind of melded them together. But I believe we can pull up that video now to get into the difference of what strong versus weak AI is. So let's go on ahead and pull that up so that we can talk about it. All right.
There are also different types of artificial intelligence in terms of approach. For example, there's strong AI and weak AI. Strong AI is simulating the human brain by building systems that think and in the process give us an insight into how the brain works. We're nowhere near this stage yet. Weak AI is a system that behaves like a human but doesn't give us an insight into how the brain works. IBM's Deep Blue, a chess-playing AI, was an example. It processed millions of moves before it made any actual moves on the chessboard.
Ah, I see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool because like yeah, you can see like how like the chess computer, how it's it's just basically someone mapped like every possible like human decision around chess into it, but it's not going to be like what can I make after chess? Like it's not going to come up with like a new game, right? But it's going to come up with everything it needs to complete that game. Um, yes. Oh, that's so interesting.
It really is, yeah. Because like I play chess too, and the way I learned how to play chess was like chess online. And like just the way my brain works is like, yeah, I'm learning chess, but at the same time, how does a computer know? And also, when I was a child, like I would play checkers online, and I accidentally got to chess, and because I thought they were the same thing. But the funny thing was, like the moves I made in chess were not the same as or should not be the same as the ones I make in checkers. But I was trying to do the same moves because I'm a child thinking it's the same game. So as I was doing the moves, like it would, give you an error or it would move your piece back like, you can't do that. I'm like, how do you know? That's not fair. You didn't do it for the other game. So like now thinking back to it and then thinking back to the chess that I learned how to play online, I was just like, okay, it really does plan out all these extra moves because, like, when you're learning on this website, you make a move and it tells you, oh, you made this move. This is a rookie move. It kind of makes you feel bad, but like it says, like, oh, you made this move, and then and then the computer makes a move, then you make another one, and then it kind of tells you, okay, but you also could have done this. Like, it already has thought of all the possible things that you could have done. So now knowing that it was all AI behind this, now I know that I'm not really bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that I kind of think about this too, especially with the chess example, is like I feel like strong AI builds off of weak AI. You already kind of need to like load all of this data on the computer so that it like knows what it's doing. Like in the chess example, it would be playing chess. But then the question is it going to learn from all these chess examples, or is it just going to be like, I think this is the best move and does all of the calculations because it's a computer to just like make the right move, and like we can force the computer to do that and like a human can't. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, breaking that down. Thank y'all for expanding on that with me. But yeah, there's all different types of AI. Strong versus weak AI is just talking about the artificial intelligence examples. But within artificial intelligence, there's a whole bunch of different things that we can get into. Artificial intelligence is so broad. There are different types. Like I said, we need to be specific with the questions that we're trying to ask the computer to do because the computer isn't us. We can't force it to do everything. We're still trying to do a lot of fine tuning of these algorithms. So we can look at more specific examples of AI. And there are a whole bunch of examples. And one of those examples that we're going to be talking about is computer vision. Which is, talked about a lot. Maybe not in particular. Maybe you're not like, what is computer vision? And your friends are talking about it. But it's something that is used a whole bunch. And it's really trying to get computers to see like us and then process what they see, because that's something that we can do. But I always ask the question, like, see like who? Who's writing these algorithms? What are we trying to look for? Because that can really also be interesting in these things. So, have y'all heard of computer vision? I mean, do you know what this is?
I don't. I wish I did, but because you said for how computers see, right? And that's interesting because we like what's I think of photography, right, as like a really early technology of like trying to transfer like vision into something that's out eyes, right? And like the science of just like literally putting light onto paper, and how and then now we have technology that for instance can photograph things without using light. Now can use laser rays or whatever. I'm not being very scientific right now, but I don't need a white man degree to know that that's the case.
This show is for everyone.
Exactly. So yeah, just to see that like that transition to for like technology seeing and how all of a sudden we have things that can like see below the things that we even can see, right? And so yeah, I'm excited to learn more about what it actually is, but like knowing that how artificial intelligence is moving, computer vision has to be moving at a very rapid pace. So yeah, I don't know. But tell me, do you know a little bit about it?
So, like, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't actually like straight up looked up computer vision, and it hasn't really come up in many of my searches. But like, just based on the things that I've seen so far and what I already know about artificial intelligence, and maybe like using your camera, comparison right there, I could probably like take an estimated guess, and then I'll find out if I'm right or wrong. And more like what I think computer vision is very similar to what we were talking about, the whole like planning next steps ahead. It's kind of like literally like when you input something, like you give the computer something, like I don't know, you just type in a random sentence, or like, you know, I'm probably about to set off all iPhones, but, you know, when you say something like, hey Siri, and then like along those lines, and then like the computer vision is what causes Siri to respond. It's what's causing the computer to, it's what's causing the machine to give you that input, like, or to give you that output. It's like it gives you something, the computer takes it in and it's like, okay, is this, and then gives you like something else like right back. At least that's what I think computer vision is. You will let us know how right we are.
I think this is way more right than me.
I'm this one now. So I'm Chief this one.
Yeah, no, I think both of you are right. Computer vision is actually, funnily enough, something that I am very interested in. I spent a lot of time reading about computer vision algorithms. And I think the most annoying example of computer vision, or at least giving data to these computers so that they are better at seeing, is anytime a computer asks you, check all the boxes that has a stoplight, check all the boxes that have a car, because the computer doesn't know. We're trying to give it that data, and we are the people who are like checking the algorithm. We're giving it the information that it needs to see, you know, theoretically, because we can see better than they can. We're giving them all of these examples so that they can hopefully learn from those examples, I guess in the case of weak AI, so that they can go out and recognize those particular things. I mean, oftentimes when we're doing those examples, I feel like they're used a lot for self-driving cars, just because those examples are used. It's like, you know, traffic lights, streets, you know, stuff like that. But we can use other examples too, and that's just one example. But we can also pull a lot of this data from like surveillance cameras that exist just in the state as well. They can just rip that and start using that to see if computers can see what's going on in the real world, to always have an eye on you. So we also need to think about that when we're thinking about computer vision. So I think that's really important. It can be, I mean, used for really useful things. We'll talk a little bit more later about how the colony uses AI, but that is just one example of computer vision, and a pretty cool example of computer vision. And I also just want to say really quickly, only because I am into math, that when we are looking at images, we are working with tons of variables, and in particular, every single pixel is going to be one variable. So whatever pixel, however, yeah, whatever resolution your images are, you're going to be working with like millions of variables, and that's also why it's easier sometimes for computers to do that, because then they analyze every single pixel and look at every single one to see if this is something that I'm looking for, something that I should look out for. Maybe it's a human crossing the street, maybe it's a traffic light, you know, again in the example of self-driving cars. But yeah, lots of variables. Easy for us to do it. We don't do all those computations, but like I said, computers need an unbelievable amount of precision, and we can kind of flesh out some of that precision by giving them the data. Like I said, by doing those like CAPTCHA examples, but also by writing some algorithms that can be used for this as well, which I think is cool.
Yeah, like just something interesting to think about, especially with the self-driving car example, is you know, of course, it can only see as much as we can see at first, right? But you know, a self-driving car is something I would want to see more than myself. You know, so it's like, you know, a lot of this artificial intelligence, you know, it's clearly going to have to be built even more strongly. It's going to be stronger AI, and things that definitely could be more dangerous in the world, right? Or more like possibly harmful. Um, you know, like the self-driving car should be able to see a person. Um, and yeah, if you are like if you're trying to figure out like what, you know, what AI should be looking like, you should put in the comments hashtag computer vision. um, like what do you want to see? What do you want your technology to be able to see? And what do you think about this computer vision? Because I don't know, I would want my self-driving car to see way more than me. I don't know. I would want certain technology to be smarter than me, but is that a scary thing? I don't know.
I don't know. Good point. Or like maybe another cool hashtag to go along with computer vision, like hashtag IC, AIC, hashtag IC. So just to show that you really understand what you're talking about when it comes to this subject. It's just like, so when people are listening, they say, I see. No, you see the AI. The AI is something that too. I see. Yes. Yes. Just like the very healthy, probably fake orange juice. Okay. Yeah, definitely something along those lines. But yeah, that is actually really, really cool. Just thinking about the whole thing about those little puzzles that you have to do, or the ones that I think someone brought up earlier today. Someone was trying to do like a little captcha test or whatever, and it was like it literally just asked me to choose all the frogs that are facing the right way, and I'm like, that's a very interesting thing to ask, like a frog that's facing the right way. Me, I'm a very literal thinker. I'm also dyslexic, so I probably would choose the frog that's either facing left or right. Because I don't know, but like I'd go for the one that's facing right, my version of right. Because I mean, what? It's the frog. It's the frog that's faced right. Is that wrong? Well, no, because apparently the frog is supposed to face forward or whatever. Like it's really interesting to see like the questions that the computer asks you when it's like, hey, yeah, find an example of this, or like, yeah, find all the traffic lights. But like you have to be very specific. You can't just choose like the ones that's an obvious traffic light. You got to choose that little yellow dot in the corner that's also part of the traffic light, something like that. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. How about you, Chief Felix?
Yeah, Lembeck. When I was listening to what Chief Oju was saying about like I want the computer to see stronger than myself, maybe use some strong AI, it just kind of made me think that like strong AI is supposed to like replicate the human brain. And I don't even know if we're trying to have an algorithm that can see even better than us. Like, do we even want it replicating ourselves? Which is interesting.
I don't know. How many Rohans do y'all want? Put in the comments how many Rohans you all would want, and then we'll get right on it.
Yes, and that's what the Matrix was all about, essentially, right? It was like a machinery reproducing human life, but for its own consumption. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's true. Do we want? It'd be, of course, if we can make more Rohans, that'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But that might not be the decision. We don't know what the decision is going to be.
I don't know. I'm going based off what I've heard almost every chief and every committee say to me.
We have to design them to make sure they don't reproduce petty boost sellouts. That's what we have to do.
Okay, so we just need how many more revolutionaries do we want? Design your own revolutionary, like that Disney movie How to Build a Better Boy or something like that. Or yeah, something along those lines is just how to build a better revolutionary.
Yeah.
And then you just put a bunch of zeros and ones. I did it. That'd be kind of funny. What about you, Chief Felix?
Yeah, I think that would be really funny. I mean, I wouldn't complain if there were more Rohans around. I don't know. I'm still just thinking about this idea of seeing better than ourselves because we know that like we can come up with a computer that just has like higher resolution vision than us. We know that there are things out there that can see better than us. Will it be more so maybe instead of replicating ourselves, replicating some of those things that can see better than us? And like a computer maybe learns from that once we better understand how other things can see. I don't know. I feel like there's a whole lot of possibilities. I think it's really interesting. And I also really liked your example, Chief Rohan, talking about how you need to be incredibly precise with these algorithms, like this tiny little light in the corner, because computers are pretty bad at catching those, especially things that exist like on a boundary. On a boundary is always very challenging for computers. So that's why we're better. That's why they still need us to check it. Computer vision, still has some ways to go. But a lot of computer vision is wrapped up in, like I said, in this data and in machine learning, because this still needs to learn from these images, get a lot of this data to be able to make these decisions. And I think that's really interesting, really useful. And we also got to talk about machine learning a little bit too. So, excellent. Yeah, what is machine learning? How exactly can we get into machine learning? I do believe we have a video, so I kind of want to jump right into that. to talk about what machine learning is, um, and how it's different than computer vision, the things that we're talking about, or how it can also be used in computer vision as well. Um, so yeah, let's go on ahead.
What's machine learning then? Machine learning refers to algorithms that enable software to improve its performance over time as it obtains more data. This is programming by input-output examples rather than just coding. So that this makes more sense, let's use an example. A programmer would have no idea how to program a computer to recognize a dog, but he can create a program with a form of intelligence that can learn to do so. If he gives the program enough image data in the form of dogs and let it process and learn, when you give the program an image of a new dog that it's never seen before, it would be able to tell that it's a dog with relative ease.
All
Wow.
right, Linda. How are y'all feeling about machine learning? I think that's kind of interesting. I want to hear from y'all. So, what do you think?
Um, I say, I mean, I just think of the colony. That's the first thing I think of is the colony. Because it wants to learn so much information about colonized people because it wants to use it against us so quickly. So the first thing I thought of was facial recognition. Right, that was like the first thing I thought of. And like the idea of it is really amazing. Like the idea that like you can have a machine be able to predict, or not be able to predict, but be able to comprehend something it hasn't seen before based off of things that it's already seen. Um, like that's amazing, and it can, like, we can help people a lot that way. Like if it recognizes a dangerous situation, if there's a situation similar to it, maybe it can help, right? A machine can help. Yeah, I think of, like, it just made me think of facial recognition like the fastest. That was the first thing I thought of, and like how um it can recognize and misrecognize things, and how humans can use the information that machines give us that from their learning. Machine, objectively is learning something, right? But the information it gives us is up for us to use in a certain way. And so the concept is great, but yeah, it makes me think of Connie real quick.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely understand that. And like one thing that actually stood out the most to me with this whole video, well, okay. So the first thing I saw was dog. Like, well, I was listening to the video, but I saw a dog. And so, first of all, it's very adorable. And second of all, I was going over the thing that it said, like, so when the computer sees another dog, it knows it's a dog. I'm like, hang on a minute. I remember learning about this in psychology. Not much to do with computers really, but it's more like just like children. So like when a child first learns that something is a dog, like you say, oh, dog. So a child gets the definition in their mind of what a dog is. So it just thinks, okay, it's something that's furry and has 4 legs and, is tiny or something along those lines. So the child gets that definition of dog in their head. Great. So then let's say a child sees a cat. The child sees fur. The child sees 4 legs. The child sees tail. The child sees a cat and says, dog. And it just recognizes it differently, but it's that different sort of input that's coming in. What all input does the computer have? What all input does this machine have to be able to separate the fact that this is a dog? Like, how do you know? Because you see one type of dog. How do you know that once you show it a golden retriever, that it's going to know, yep, that's a dog? Like, it's all about like the codes and the other things that go into it. Just like how a child needs to know, like, the general definition of a dog, just so that, if it sees a golden retriever or a Rottweiler or whatever other dogs there are, I've got right now. But if it sees any other kind of dog, the kid knows to say, oh, it's a dog, and not think cat, just because of those different definitions. So it's really cool the amount of input you have to give to a person or a child so that they can learn it versus the input that you give to a machine and what like the machine picks up on. So I feel like that also has something to do with just artificial intelligence too. Just the intelligence that this machine gets and then the intelligence that we get. So that's how we formulate our own things, our own thoughts. And then machines have their own ways of doing that. But that's like one of the first things that came to my mind. Anyone want to comment on this?
Yeah, Lembeck. So I really liked how both of y'all described that, and I think it's really important when we're dealing with machine learning is like what data do we want the machine to learn from? Like you were talking about, we need to make sure that we give the computer enough information, enough examples of all sorts of different types of dogs, so that it is a broad enough definition to include big dogs, small dogs, hairless dogs, maybe a dog that doesn't have an ear, all of those things, because that's still a dog. And if you can't show a computer that originally when it's learning what a dog is, or like you said, even when you're teaching what child what a dog is, because the child only learns from being out in the real world, seeing all these dogs just walking around. A computer isn't going to see it. It's all up to the human to be like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this, and just like give the computer a bunch of data. And like I said, in data that's good. And in particular, when we're dealing with facial recognition, sometimes it's very similar. The data that that people on the colony use for machine learning, and I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to talk about it later, is oftentimes trash. They don't give them enough examples because there are so many different types of examples of what people can look like, and different, small, minute things that a computer can pick up on. And then a human again comes back and checks like the algorithm and it's like, okay, I guess this algorithm looks good, but it's like, hey, you're also like a problematic human looking at this. Like someone else should be looking at this data because actually, like, this isn't right. This isn't right. And again, where we're getting this data from, oftentimes we can just pull it from the state, from like surveillance cameras that are going around, and that's not always the best data to use for these machine learning algorithms because it can just get dicey and really hurt colonized people. And it doesn't have to hurt colonized people. We can ensure that it doesn't. We can include it in our algorithms, but the colony doesn't because the colony is not interested in that stuff.
Yes, no, for real. Like, and if you are watching and you are trying to figure out, okay, like how do I make sure that machines get information that is like representative of all colonized people, represents the ideals of justice and liberation, and so that they're not learning horrible things that can harm colonized people, then you should join Black Hammer. You should join Black Hammer and create the artificial intelligence, create the machines that will work for the betterment of colonized people and not against us, because we know that most of this technology is used by the colony to maintain colonialism. And in order to end that, we need to counter that. We need dual contending artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's a feat. That would be a feat.
Oh yeah, it'll be 2 feet because that's how many I have. But yeah, so like another thing about joining Black Hammer, like not only would you, be able to create your own AI, you would know exactly what goes into it. And then another thing, you won't have to be worried about secrets or us trying to hide anything. Even if you're not the one making AIs, but you're still in the org, like it's not like we're gonna keep that stuff from you. Like we're literally right here, right now, telling you this. And as we said earlier, and like Oju had stated earlier, he doesn't know too much about artificial intelligence. This is a whole new thing. And so we're getting this firsthand knowledge right here, and he's in Black Hammer. So yeah, just like join Black Hammer and you can get this knowledge. You can sit here and just learn with us and absorb and just, produce your own intelligence, something like that. But yeah, that's definitely really cool. If you'd like to, just email us, bhoscitech@protonmail.com, if you want to join SciTech, but you got to join the org first. So I say go to blackhammer.org/join. Also a good thing to do. But yeah, back to you, Chief Felix.
Lembeck, yeah, so I was actually just thinking, I believe an example of face recognition that I've heard China use, especially in the case of Rona, is when keeping track of the people who are infected, and using surveillance cameras to find other people that could also be infected by this disease and notifying them because, like, hey, we saw you on camera with this other person, you should check it out, maybe go quarantine, get tested, something like that, to help mitigate the spread of these viruses that the colony is trying to destroy us with. So there is a slew of applications that we can use, and colonized people are often interested in those applications that can actually better us, better society. And if you want to be a part of that, like Chief Oju and Chief Rohan was saying, definitely join Black Hammer, join our IT subcommittee, because that is something, I'm sure something we will be doing soon, is building up a dual contending artificial intelligence power, because it's something the colony uses, and it's something that we can also use as colonized people. We'll probably use it better than the colony ever will. So if you want to be a part of that, definitely check us out. Build this dual contending artificial intelligence power, because we haven't even seen the true power of what it can do. We're only starting to touch the surface, but it can do so much more than what we've seen it do, and like the harmful ways we've seen it used on the colony too. And that just really makes me excited. So if y'all are excited, you see it there, join SciTech, and join Black Hammer today. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, and I'm just imagining this, all the ways that it can be useful for us, and how it can really create a world where the people who might not be able to do things because of certain ability, or maybe the people who need more information on like COVID, right? Like I'm thinking about in China, like when you talk about China, like the robots that also like we're measuring people's temperatures instead of like humans, right? We can like create technology that keeps us safe, And so, yes, you should join Black Hammer, and you could learn a little bit more about what we believe at Black Hammer.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. I like full-heartedly agree. I think I just made up that statement. If you want to make up statements, like hammer. But all right, we probably hammered that into your head enough. So we're gonna go ahead and move it on back to Chief Felix.
Yeah, so if you were starting to get fired up about what Black Hammer does, building up this artificial intelligence power, all you need to do to join Black Hammer is unite with our 4 principles of unity. And we're going to get into those right now. So, what unites all of us? What keeps us moving? Yeah, how do we all move as an organization? So, Black Hammer, if you didn't know, is the biggest, the baddest anti colonial revolutionary organization in the game. And we're made up of poor and working class colonized people, all united under 4 principles of unity. Number 1, we believe the colonized proletariat should have dictatorship over our lives, labor, land, and resources. Number 2, we believe all colonized proletariat are equal, no matter gender, sexuality, age, skin tone, body type, location, religion, language, mental/physical differences, and/or bi/multiracial identity. Number 3, we believe all the problems the colonized face are from colonialism and submissive neocolonialists that are within our colonized nations. And number 4, we believe that the colonized proletariat is the only true proletariat, and only through our leadership can white power, capitalism, colonialism, imperialism, and all of its symptomatic offspring be smashed. So if you unite with those principles, you're trying to build up this dual contending artificial intelligence power. Don't let your labor be used by the colony, because they're not going to use it for you, but we're gonna let you use it for yourself here at Black Hammer. So make sure you check us out. Join Black Hammer today.
Yes, and not only should you join Black Hammer, you should also support Black Hammer through donating. You should be donating to Black Hammer, because if you think they aren't paying money to build their artificial intelligence, I don't know where you think they're getting those resources. Well, they're getting those resources from colonized people, but it costs money to be getting all that technology together. So we have to build some technology in order to contend with theirs. Then we're gonna have to raise some funds, and $400 is our goal, and we know that ain't nothing yet to get some AI, but it's a start. And so we're gonna be raising $400. The Cash App tag is BHO SciTech.
Oh yeah, right there. And as you can see, yes, our goal is $400, and I am very positive that we can smash that goal. It's not. It's that goal. Nothing to us hammers, because hammers, we smash it. We're gonna nail it. It's definitely something that we're gonna do. Drop your donations. Again, yep, that is our Cash App hashtag BHO SciTech. And even if you cannot donate right now, you see that little word beside the word donate. Well, actually, you see the word beside that little symbol that looks like a chair? Yeah, that says pledge. Another thing that you can do if you cannot donate right now, you can easily pledge. Not like the allegiance. You can take your money and push it to a later day. You can, like, the way bank accounts set up, check-in, savings, take 3 business days, exactly. And within those 3 business days, if you need 3 business days, you can easily pledge, $5, $10, something along those lines for a later day. So no, you do not have to donate right here, right now. You can always do it at a later time, but we will check up on you.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But yes, definitely donate, definitely pledge. All of it helps. And even if you're not a colonized person, you can definitely still donate, because those are what we like to call reparations. Or sorry, let me do that right. Reparations. Yeah, got the booty cat in there. But yes, you take that's what you got to do. If you are not a colonized person, then you can pay reparations. That's definitely a really great way to help us out, to help us get super very far in the many things that we're doing, like building those water filters, getting these programs out, and then we have like this new 3D printing thing that we got going on here, and just $400 right here can help me mass produce a bunch of these little fidget slugs. This is our Minislug of Defense Slugoon right here. Say hi. Exactly. Yes. So that is exactly why you should donate. And if you can't donate right now, pledge. And if you are a whiteout, then you should definitely pay some reparations for sure, because I definitely believe that'll help us get that goal going. We will easily meet that goal. And with the reparations corps, I know the reparations corps got it. I know they do, because they can raise $400 in about 5 minutes. Like, come on, I know y'all got it, because we're the poor working class, but y'all who are paying the reparations, y'all are just y'all got it. Don't let me say anything else about y'all, because I love y'all. But yeah, like, y'all can definitely help us get there, poor and working class, even if you can't right now. That's why we pledge later on. And I mean, so long as you don't mind me or one of the others checking up on you every so often and make sure you're still donating, then yeah, please do. It'll definitely help us get extremely far with all the things that we do. And we can always go further. Your money is going directly to SciTech, directly to help us fund things like this slug. You can have a slug made of yourself if you donate. This filament ain't free, y'all. It's really not. I know there might not be too much filament that goes into it, but regardless, it's not free. The things we do just aren't free. We want to serve our community, but it's not free. It comes with a price. And if you can help us donate, any amount will do, even if it's just $1, $2. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that I've had to donate just $2 because that was all I had. And that's okay, because we understand. But so long, just $2 is enough to put in to like all of these little filament pieces that'll come together to help create a little slug like that. We get a whole lot of filament from that. So yeah, those $2 can really help. Just add it up. I know we did some math last time, and so we can just add up all the little donations that we got. And I feel like that should definitely help us. Yes, call back to the hashtag add it up. Let's add up those donations right there. Chief Felix, how do you feel about these donations? What do you think we can do with these donations?
Oh, what can we not do with these donations? Like you were saying, Chief Rohan, every single one of your dollars is going to be going directly into SciTech, directly into the science of colonized people. And we know all the science on the colony is stolen from us anyway. So the science we're going to be doing is going to be bigger. It's going to be better. It'll actually protect you. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you are donating, because we are exclusively interested in you using science and using technology for colonized people to help uplift colonized people, to protect colonized people, which is not anything that you will ever see on the colony. It's important to remind ourselves that science is powerful, technology is powerful. That's why the colony is investing so much in it, and we want to invest a lot in it too, because it is incredibly important. We're seeing how they're starting to be used currently on the colony. We are actively trying to build up this dual contending artificial intelligence power, but we can't do that without your help, without your donations, without your pledges, without your reparations, because this stuff does cost money. Like Chief Rohan was saying, we need money for our filaments, for our 3D printer. We need money to help train our comrades in learning how to code so that we can build up this dual contending science power. We need money for water filters, which we've talked about before on this science show as well. So every single dollar, every single cent, anything that you are willing to donate will be used for us. And to just do some amazing science projects with. And you can always be a part of those science projects, so still make sure you're joining after donating. But yeah, anything that you donate, and that's also something you can't see on the colony, is actually going to be used for what we say it's going to be used for. You're donating money to SciTech, it'll be used for SciTech. It's absolutely incredible. So if you like science, if you like technology, if you hate how the colony uses it, just do it for that. Spite the colony. Because we can do incredible things with science. We've always been able to do incredible things with science. We want to show ourselves, we want to show other people what we can do, and we won't be able to feel, see, realize our full potential of that without your donations. So You see it on the screen. BHO SciTech. Make sure you keep donating, keep pledging, and I know Chief Rohan or someone else from economic development is going to be keeping tabs on all of y'all if you say something. So I want to see more donations coming in because, like I said, this stuff is so important. Everything that we do, everything that all the comrades in SciTech are doing, it's just incredible. And we want you all to support it because, like I said, science is powerful. Yeah.
Full unity with that. And yeah, just get those. I will be coming at y'all. And even if I can't do it, I'll get my other little Rohans to do it. Yeah. Remember, we asked you how many Rohans y'all want. I think they manifested. So now we got a bunch of little Rohans running on downstairs.
They're all coming to collect.
They're all coming to collect. They're all going to be knocking down your doors any minute. No, we're not going to be doing that. That's what the colony would do. And speaking of the colony is the one trying to use these machines, using this machine learning, and we got to get y'all in the know. So yes, Chief Felix, tell us, give us that know that we need to know about what the colony is using for machine learning.
Yes, absolutely. So, how does the colony use machine learning? We talked about it a little bit ago. Face recognition is a really big one. These self driving cars is another one. I oftentimes think about how FedBook uses machine learning, which is how they can recognize that it's your friend before you even tagged your friend. How do they have all that data? They stored all that data. They let the machine learn from that data, and now they're starting to make predictions. How suspicious. I didn't even know you had that many pictures of me, FedBook. But all of these things that we use, Spotify, Twitter, like any sort of social media, anything that has data, that can use data, that's trying to tailor ads to you, tailor your likes to you, these For You pages, all of those things are machine learning algorithms, are artificial intelligence algorithms. And a lot of the times they're using it to extract information from us, colonized people, extract information or resources from us as well, trying to get us to spend more money with these ads and all these other things. But really, they're just trying to keep track of our every single move. And I think of that because we, colonized people, are incredibly powerful. The state, the colony, they have to keep an eye on us because they know if we get together, if we start talking, we'll be able to do things that they won't be able to do because, again, all of this science is stolen. We are the true proletariat, like our four principles of unity laid out. We are the people who can really do this science. And the colony has to constantly keep tabs on us, try and keep us scared too, releasing these articles like, oh, we've got eyes on you all the time. It's like, how good are these machine learning algorithms right now? Like, they're causing a mess because we hear about them, but because they're bad too. Y'all aren't doing a good job. And they can do so much more, like I said. But we're just not realizing that full potential. And we'll really never be able to see that full potential on the colony because the colony just simply isn't interested in that. So they're interested in tearing us down and how they can do that with machine learning and with data that we don't even know that they're actively using and teaching machines to learn from. So yeah, how do y'all feel about how the colony uses machine learning?
One thing, well, a couple things. One, when you talk about learning algorithms, so I'm new to TikTok because I'm a millennial, and that I understood when Facebook during the pandemic I was on Facebook just a little bit more, and it gave me an automatic suggested video, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is clearly related to something I saw before, right? And I saw that I was learning from what I've seen and was trying to give me stuff. But I had no idea the extent to which that could be done until I got into TikTok and just how quick it learns what you watch, what you swipe, how long you stay on something, and just it learns you so quickly. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a whole nother level of making technology and machinery really just respond to humans immediately, and people are gonna be fine with that because they know that they can create this immediate satisfaction, this quick satisfaction that the colony always tries to give us to distract us from the horrors of it, right? That escapism. And the more that can keep you in the fantasy, and quicker that can keep you in it, the less likely you're gonna want to fight colonialism. Yeah, that was one. And then I was thinking also, just more in the physical world, in Chicago, they have these shot spotter things where they where if there's if they're high on lampposts and if there's a gunshot, then they can know where it happened, how many blocks away, and all that stuff. And this is in combination with all the surveillance cameras. It's one of the most surveilled cities in the country, and possibly the world. And like to see how like they try to learn information that way, and that thing is never accurate. One, it's never accurate. It's bad technology because the company makes crappy tech. But it's just that all this technology that they could be using to like find out like, oh, maybe someone's in trouble somewhere. Not that they're gonna actually rescue us, but like the technology can be used for so many things, but instead it's used to like help further colonize people, who are doing what they gotta do to survive on these streets. So it's just interesting to see it in like the phone world and in the material world, how they're just trying to like just kind of keep you in colonialism. They're just like trying to keep you in it. Yeah.
Oh man, you are so right though. Like just of everything, like the facial recognition, because you got the iPhone X that can unlock because of your face. But even before then, like people were freaking out about that. Like your phone has been recognizing your face because, as we said earlier, FedBook knows. Like, do you know how many times I go to my FedBook and then all of a sudden I see, hey, we see a picture that you might be in, and I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, how the I wasn't even tagged and it recognized my face. Like that is freaky. And then again with the whole TikTok thing, like, yeah, I'm new to TikTok too. I don't know what gen I am. I just know that I'm new to TikTok. And within TikTok, one thing that's really interesting is, they have that following part, the people who you follow. And so, yeah, they got that. Okay, cool. That's how you know that. But then they got the 4. And the 4 freaks me out because I see so many pride things and then so much stuff about grammar and other languages. And I'm like, I don't like the fact that y'all just know me like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm terrified to show anyone my TikTok because y'all gonna judge me very fast based on the random stuff that comes up. But yeah, even if you do not follow the person who's producing it, it's like it picks up on the fact that you like videos that tend to do with this. So we're going to send you a lot of videos that have to do with that. So that's why everyone's TikTok is just so extravagant. But, even then, like back to Fed, speaking of Fed, like that's one way that they use AI, but how else does our Fed use AI? And I think that's definitely something we should get into, Chief Felix.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like we talked a lot about it, and I just wanted to say a few words about FedBook and also TikTok and like what their goals are. Because when we're trying to come up with these algorithms, like I said, it's really important to think about like what we're trying to do, what are we trying to solve, like what particular part about like our artificial intelligence do we want this computer to learn. And oftentimes, especially with TikTok and videos like YouTube and other things, the goal is to keep you on the platform for as long as possible, play as many ads as possible, get you to go through all of these ridiculous niche, I don't know, segues and tangents on their website so that you just stay there. You stayed sucked in. You stay sucked into the colony. They're not going to recommend, I mean, maybe they will recommend some of this stuff, but their goal is to keep you entertained, to keep you sucked into the colony, and to take you exactly where they want to take you. You have no choice. Even like the first things that come up when you search things isn't going to be the same for everyone, which I think is ridiculous. Based on past search history that they still have, it'll depend like what the very first thing you're going to see in Google, in YouTube, even in TikTok, because they're like, oh, I think you actually might like this one a little bit better. So we're going to put that one up a little bit higher and then kind of see where this goes a little bit, which is ridiculous that they know like every single person who's online to that ridiculous niche amount, because what is their goal? Is to keep you on the colony, to keep you sucked into the, stay distracted on your little phone, don't do work, don't talk to other people about what's going on. And I think, I mean, like I said, it's still crappy tech. Like we could still do better. But when you think about that, like what are they trying to do? What their goal is? I feel like it's just so clear that that's how they're using AI. It's just to keep you pulled into the colony. And they're doing a bad job of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, like with you're saying just to keep you like on your phone distracted. But then of course you have colonized people who are revolutionaries, right? Who are using intelligence, artificial intelligence, and technology to make sure that our people understand anti-colonialism, making sure our people understand how to get free. And so, of course, those things can pop up on For You pages, right? Those things can, right? But then this is where the human has to interrupt artificial intelligence and be the machine, to be the machine that catches things that the machine is put that the actual machine is putting out there, right? And it's just interesting. It's interesting that AI could be responsible for starting the revolution, right? It could be responsible for waking people up out of things, but we understand that colonizers and people in colonialism who run it aren't going to let that happen. So they're going to interrupt the artificial intelligence. They're going to stop the technology from doing what it's already doing. Making it learn things to stop it from spreading the message. And I think it's something that's very clear on Facebook and Instagram, right? The whole thing shadow banning, right? Shadow banning is something that they have to teach the technology to do, but it's a human who's to really purposely do it. The AI is can only do so much based off of keywords and whatnot. So yes, so yeah, I think it's really interesting, just how they use this artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah, it also explains why we got to be crazy careful with the stuff that we put online and the things that we say, within these videos. Saying a particular word, all of a sudden, the whole thing's muted. Say maybe one wrong thing, and all of a sudden, the whole thing is taken down. It's absolutely insane how the Fed tries to use AI. But one thing that's not insane is how people like us colonized people, how we use AI, because the Fed ain't the only ones who got the brain. I mean, hey, we got the more brain. We got all the brain to be using this AI. So let's discuss that for a minute, Chief Felix. What is up with us colonized people using the AIs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do want to say that I feel like what AI can do when colonized people really take a hold of it and the colony doesn't use it anymore is absolutely endless. But just some examples of what colonized people are doing with AI right now, like I already mentioned the example with China and keeping people safe with Rona. But we can also use AI for farming. Which I think is really interesting. Finding particular data for how all of your crops are doing. If there are weeds, I think when I was reading, you can and this is maybe a computer vision example too. I don't know how you can think about it, but finding particular weeds in your farm and just pulling only the weeds, or only spraying the weeds with pesticides and nothing else, but making sure that the tractor or whatever I'm not a farmer, can see those things and spray only those particular weeds. I know that's a really big example, of course, using a pesticide that's safe because so many of those are trash. But I think that's really cool. What do y'all think about that?
I just thought of self-driving tractor, and I got really scared all of a sudden. I'm like, that's not. I get scared with the Tesla.
Run!
I know, tractor but no, but I like that farming example a lot. Actually, that's a really great use. I feel for artificial intelligence, because that's something where especially as climate change continues, we're gonna need more data about how we are producing for ourselves on this planet, and AI can help us get that information faster.
It really, really can, and this actually reminds me of an episode of Grey's Anatomy. I'm sorry, Chief, so if you're watching, I know, House MD for life. Anyways, so the one really cool thing that I saw in Grey's Anatomy was towards one of the later seasons. So spoiler alert, one of the colonized doctors who was up there, Dr. Richard Weber, he had this little pin that could detect. So the thing that technology could not do, X-rays, some of the X-rays, the MRIs, the scans could not do very accurately, was figure out, where all a cancerous tumor is. You can get some of the tumor, but you can't always get all of it. And there's always that little bit that's stuck somewhere that you just can't find. However, it was the AI or some sort of new technology that Richard Weber had made, that this little pin that you just put it on your tissue and it can detect a cancer cell that these other machines could not. How do you program something like that to pick up on a cell that's cancerous versus one that's not? And how do you, you can even go further with that. Maybe there's even a pin that you could do that could figure out, is this one benign or is this one, malignant? I almost said malevolent. I haven't even seen that movie, but you can figure out if it's benign or malignant just from that. There are so many ways. You could just take regular technology or something really super cool like that and just manipulate it and, use that AI for things like that. And that was one colonized person that did it. And there are all kinds of other colonized people that can do that too. I mean, we got this thing called collective brilliance.
Yes.
All four of us, I think, I don't know, all of us in this room right now, and then all y'all out there watching, all y'all colonized y'allnesses out there can we can all put our heads together, figuratively, not literally, because we would all, put our brains together, collect our intelligence, collect collect our brilliance. We'll get that collective brilliance, and then we can produce our own little artificial intelligence from just regular technology, something like that. Even if that's not, a direct example of AI, it's something that it reminded me of and made me think, how can we go further? And that's one thing you can think of when it comes to AI and how colonized people use it. How can we take what we already have and go further? Which is exactly what this organization does. It's exactly what Black Hammer does. We take what we have and we go further. If you are that kind of person that could, take something and then go further with it, looks like you belong in Black Hammer. So yeah, I hammer that into you again. blackhammer.org/join.
Yes.
How about you, Felix? What do you think about how, anything else that you can think about how colonized people can use AI? The weeds example is really, really interesting, like the farming and stuff. I really actually found that to be pretty super cool. Yeah, how could AI be used?
Yeah, how could it be used? That's something that I definitely want to read a little bit later. So if you're watching this, I want to see it in the comments. How do you think AI can be used? But your example, Chief Rohan, talking about diseases, that is something that is actively being used by colonized people right now, being able to detect disease. Like I said, I don't know if this is another example using computer vision or maybe just a lot of images. I'm, again, not a doctor. But being able to detect those things and giving a computer a lot of data, I guess similar to dogs, I don't know why you couldn't just teach it to be this is a tumor, this isn't a tumor, this is a good tumor, these are the particular makeups of a tumor, what makes it good or bad, and then also being able to, like you said, completely get rid of it, because that is something that's really nice about computers is a lot of accuracy and precision that sometimes humans can struggle with. And tumors, we know if we don't get all of them, that there's always a possibility of coming back. So once a computer can recognize it, completely destroying it, and maybe a human even wasn't a part of that, or maybe the human just comes in for the surgery part, and everything else is just take the x-ray, run the algorithm, and then just see what you have to do once we get to that point, of course. But I think that's a pretty cool example. I'd have to keep thinking about how else AI could be used, though. But what do y'all think?
Yeah. Oh, so that last part you said it could do everything, and then the surgeon just comes in. Actually, it's actually a good metaphor. It actually reminds me of the chess computer almost. It's almost like the end point of the chess computer where it's scalpel to A6. It's just that essentially you're getting to the point where the computer, where the technology can just know all the right moves to the point of victory. Right. And right, exactly. That's what it is. And again, that's what Black Hammer knows and does, right? We know all the points that we have to make to get to the point of victory. And of course, that can be assisted with the use of artificial intelligence, right? And that artificial intelligence is one part of that, step, and can inform our steps. So I think AI could be used by helping us come up with help us be dialectical historical materialists, right?
Yes.
Because get all the information of all anti-colonial revolutionary movements and be
go run with it.
Yeah, just go run with it.
Go my AI minions.
And be PPE to PPE to Dallas, Texas, right? It's not gonna do that. Of course, we wish the revolution was that precise, but we can be inspired by AI to think about that, to think that way, and to think that we need to make certain specific steps to get to the point of victory. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. And going back to the chess thing, because I'm a nerd. So one thing that I actually thought was really, really cool that that it reminded me of when it came to the chess game was, figuring out those next steps, those next moves with chess. However, don't forget when you play those online games with a computer, you can change the difficulty, easy, medium, hard. So what kind of calculations is this computer doing to really figure out this would make the game hard, but this would make it easy. This computer really does, it thinks far ahead, but not that far because it has the limit. Like, yeah, you think, oh, it thinks all these moves ahead, but you gotta remember you're on the easy setting. So the machine's taking it easy on you when it's doing all these moves. Then once you figure that out, then you move on to medium, and then the computer's like, oh, okay, I got what to work with. Here's what else I can do. And then you move on to hard and things like that. And so it's really, really cool how even, yeah, with all this super crazy intelligence, there is always a limit to the things that AI can do. Unless you watch Robot with Will Smith, and then you got a whole other thing going on. But like, yeah, that is exactly cool like that.
That's a really good point.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, what do you think, Felix, about chess? And
About chess. I think chess is great. And I
thank
really
you.
like your example too. I was also thinking about easy, medium, and hard. And there probably is like a stopping point for like how many moves that a computer should think about ahead of time because like the computer doesn't want to work too hard. Or another thing that I was thinking about is they could have all the data categorized depending on where they pull the chess data from to like a novice player, a beginner player, and they're just pulling from those particular data sets when they're choosing your moves. So I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different ways that AI can be used. I feel like it is really limitless. But if we want to see really what can be done with AI, what colonized people can do with AI. I still want to see people donating to Black Hammer, to SciTech, because, like I said, we really won't be able to see what AI can do for us until colonized people really get a hold of it because we can do incredible things with AI. So again, we have our goal of $400. You can donate on Cash App at BHO SciTech. And yeah, I want to see some donations for AI for building up again this dual contending artificial intelligence power because it's chess today. Tomorrow it's planning out the steps of revolution. So who knows? Be a part of it if that's something you're interested in. Donate or pledge. Again, BHO SciTech, and then also join us by joining blackhammer.org/join because colonized people and AI. I am very excited to start doing AI. Like I said, I'm already kind of interested in computer vision. I would love to get more into AI. I know we have plenty of comrades who know a lot about AI. So we can do this work right now. This is stuff that we know about, and we need your help to do it. So I want to see some more donations, some pledges, some reparations to SciTech.
Yes. And make sure that you are donating and sharing this live, right? Other
Yes.
people who can't donate or pledge this moment, maybe there's someone who watches somewhere else that can. So make sure you are sharing hashtag shared when you shared it. And that way other people out there can not just get this great political education on artificial intelligence, but also can contribute to our building of artificial intelligence here at Black Hammer. All right, because yes, $400 ain't just like I don't even know. Like artificial intelligence ain't cheap, yo. It
No, it's
ain't
not.
cheap. Oh,
Nope.
and neither is
But
water.
this, however,
Yeah, exactly. This is priceless. Oh, but yeah, water filtration systems, everything that our science and technology committee is building needs resources. Revolution needs resources. If we thought revolution was just pressing a button, or it was just a dinner party, it ain't. It's a overturning of a massive contradiction, and overturning things needs resources, whether labor or monetary. So let's make sure that we're still donating, and let's smash that $400 goal. Right? We can smash that goal, right?
oh, I know we can. I know we can. And even if we don't do it right now, one thing that I've seen is, even like when we're done live, we can check back at the Cash App and all of a sudden we done hit our goal, even if we didn't hit it right then and there.
Exactly.
Because, AI ain't perfect. Sometimes these things lag. So, I think the lag in the AI is causing that. And if you want less lag in your AI, then yeah, for sure. Help donate, help donate, help support. You can help support by donating. You can help donating by donating. And like it's right there. Cash tag BHO SciTech. I believe that's a cash tag. I say cash tag, it better be. But yeah, exactly. Like as we said before, like these resources, these things are not cheap. They're not free, they're not cheap. It's difficult to like have all the stuff for it. And there's a lot that goes into it too. It can definitely be very tricky. But however, our goal is only $400. Do you know how much AI, how much we can get done with $400? Because this isn't just about AI. there's a whole lot of things that AI can contribute to that can really help improve the work and help us go way, way, way further than we've ever done. It's AI in the 3D printer that tells you when you're out of filament so that, it causes it to stop printing. Or it's the AI that lets you know that it's out of filament and then makes a really loud noise that I refuse to hear, which is why I make sure I never run out of filament. And then, there's just AI and all different kinds of things. And and Chief Felix, you were right. It's like today it could be chess, and tomorrow it could be just full steam ahead into the revolution. You thought so far ahead. I'm worried you might be an AI. I think we need to do a Turing test. That may be in order. Hashtag Turing test in the comments, because I think I'm worried about Chief Felix might have an AI over here. But But anyways, back to the resources. Like, yeah, definitely donate. And even if you can't right now, you can pledge. Pledging always for a later time, even if you can't do it right now. And either way, even if it's at a later time, it's still going to get to us. This is not going to expire. Like, even when this live is over, like, you could still do it tomorrow. You could still do it later on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like it's a never-ending cash tag right there.
Yeah.
Like a never-ending one. Like, just keep it going. And it helps us. It helps the people. Like, it doesn't even just help us. It helps the people. We do this for the people. Our science, the work that we do is for the masses, for the people. Like, this is what this is for. Even if even if science is not your thing, maybe you just don't care too much for science. That's fine. Like, it's not everyone's forte. It's not everyone's thing. That was a music joke. But if you like music, however, we got another department for that. But anyways, it's not even just that. If you care about your people, if you care about like your masses, just your surroundings, just everyone around you. We want to help those people, then we can use our science. That may not be your forte. We can use our science to help said people. Yes. One thing leads to another. It's that domino effect. Donating $2 today can all of a sudden double into $200 the next day because you shared or because you started it and then someone else did it. Like a psychology thing. Like, sometimes whenever I hear music, no, not sometimes, whenever I hear music, I'm going to get up and start dancing because I like to. And if it's a line dance that everyone can join in because everyone knows the dance, they're going to stand up and do it too. But they will not do it unless they see me do it first. Usually they need like that extra push to get them to go up there and do it. And so if you need that extra push, then, then we got someone, what? For that extra push, I'm going to go ahead and pledge $5 for this for tomorrow. I will pledge $5 for tomorrow for BHO SciTech. That is exactly what I will do. That is the push I am willing to give. So now I'm about to push y'all into donating right now. That was more of a kick. I'm about to push y'all into doing it right now. So yeah, definitely, please do that. Chief Felix, anything you want to add?
I don't know. I really like what you were saying, Chief Rohan. Like you said, it really is a domino effect, not only with AI, but like the work that we can do in Black Hammer. Because it's a couple of dollars today. That couple of dollars gets us to what we need to do, and then the science that we can do from those $2 can just snowball into so much more science for the people. Science is never used for the people on the colony. I tell people that all the time. Never, ever, ever. But it is in Black Hammer. And we can only do that with your resources, by donating, by sharing, telling a friend, sharing it with your family. I mean, we're talking about AI. This stuff is pretty cool to create that domino effect like Chief Rohan was talking about, so that we can raise more resources for SciTech and the incredible science. And also, like, shout out to our IT team too, because we do have an IT team at SciTech that, can do all of these things. So make sure you are donating so that we can hit our goal and keep doing this incredible science, because we want to keep doing it. We will keep doing it. You will see us keep doing it, but we can do so much more with your donations.
For sure. And it's not even just this show that we got going on that these donations will go to. We have tons of other things that we got going on this week because Black Hammer is a busy, busy time. And we always got stuff for y'all to tune into, for y'all to do, for y'all to watch. There is never a time where you just ain't doing nothing when it comes to Black Hammer. So yes, for sure. There are all kinds of things that you can do, that you can get started. Like, this SciTech show is not the only thing that goes on. As you can see up in there, we got the Revolutionary Book Trap. Yes, that is Sunday, August 8th, 11 a.m. And what's the name of the book that we're reading, Oju?
We are reading Marcus Garvey and the Vision of Africa. We're starting our Black August with this amazing book. And it's going to be hosted by Chief Ade and Chief Soon, who are two amazing African revolutionaries who are going to show you just how Marcus Garvey built the largest anti-colonial movement in the history of the planet. And so, yes, that is starting this Sunday.
Oh yes, be there for that. I know I'm gonna definitely tune in. I'm excited for this book.
Me too.
Oh yes. So we got the Vanguard. Yes, that will be Monday, August 9th, 12th, 13th. I don't know. It will be August next week of Monday.
Next Monday.
Yes, it'll be the next Monday within August. If y'all got a calendar, and we also got AI that can tell you this too. Yes. Again, the AI told me that it's August 9th. It might be wrong. So at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we got the Vanguard going on with our very favorite Commander-in-Chief Ghazi, and then all the rest of the Vanguard within the BHO headquarters. It will be awesome. And then also, if y'all got topics that you want to share, then you can always, email. That's definitely a thing you can do. I believe you can email at ohmygazi@gmail.com.
Ask
ohmygazi@gmail.com. Yes, see, we got that collective brilliance right there. I can't do this by myself. That's why I got Oju. And then speaking of Oju, on O2's day, we have our weekly Tuesday rally. That will be August 10th. Yes, so that proves that Monday is the night. So August 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we got our weekly Tuesday rally. Make sure y'all are in there, because this last Tuesday rally we had was a banger. Boy, was it fun. Woo, because just y'all got the real deal. And if y'all want the real deal, because Black Hammer don't keep no secrets, we're transparent with y'all. So if y'all want the real deal, I want to see y'all at the weekly Tuesday rally. We'll be live on Facebook. We'll be live on the YouTubes. We'll be live on Twitch. So yeah, be there. And yeah, Twitch is new. I want to see y'all on Twitch. We also got, I know we got some gamers up in here. I know I'm a gamer. I'm going to go ahead and call myself out right now. Yes, I'm a gamer. Go ahead. Hit me up, please. I'm lonely. And yes.
Chief Felix, tell us what's this? What's this announcement?
So it's the show you are tuning into right now, but on August 12th,
really?
8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, it is going to be our very special season finale. And I don't want to spoil who the guest will be, but I promise you will want to tune in to that episode. We could be back for another season, so who knows, but that will be the end of our season for this running time. It'll be a real nice final season. We got a lot of things that we're going to pull out for y'all, because it's been such a great first season. So you aren't going to want to miss it. Critical Mass streaming on YouTube.
Ooh,
right.
And
take this one.
No, I guess I can't take this one. If you are a saltine of the Great Value brand and wish to be a premium saltine, you can, Rohan's laughing over here. You can join our Reparations Corps. Our Reparations Corps is a political education boot camp for white people who want to be on the right side of history, want to be on the right side of the anti-colonial question.
Not the white side, the right side.
Exactly. And be under the leadership of colonized, poor, working class people. This is your chance to give back those resources and get the political education you need to be fighting for anti-colonialism. So join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can Eastern Daylight Time, EDT. You can sign up at blackhammer.org/reparations.
For sure. You want to be the name brand. Y'all all get names. So you want to be the name brand saltine. Yes. Not that Walmart stuff. And if you're not a saltine, if you've got the colonized, if you check your melanin every day, then if you're colonized, then yes, definitely do the thing that we've been telling you to do a lot of times. Ow, my thigh. Join Black Hammer today at blackhammer.org/join. You're gonna have, it's full of all kinds of people. And like we said earlier, I represent the nation of Aboriginal Australia. It's all colonized people. You don't have to be African. You don't have to be what, people call African American. It's not just, blacks up here. It's all kinds of people who represent all different kinds of nations. So long as you're colonized, please join us. We want you. So yeah, for sure. Today, join us today. Join us tomorrow if you need a second. Join us on Tuesday, after you see the Real Deal rally. For sure. There really is no better time to join, either Tuesday or just any day. Just join any day. I think I joined on a Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, blackhammer.org/join.
All right, and finally, if you want to be a part of building up this dual contending artificial intelligence power, this dual contending science and technology power, and in particular, you do not need any sort of paperwork from any sort of colonial institution, from no white man, because we know all the science is from us. Make sure you join Black Hammer SciTech today. Join us, join the collective brilliance we have in Black Hammer in science, and do some science with us. Get back in touch with what science can be, what it can be used for, because again, you're not going to see it on the colony. You're only going to see it at Black Hammer. So make sure you join us. You can also email us at bhoscitech@protonmail.com.
Oh yes, yes, for sure, for sure. Super exciting things happening. This is just a super great thing altogether.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, Chief Felix, for having us. I'm excited to see your season finale.
Oh yeah, I hope
Yes.
I hope to see everybody at that season finale. Because like I said, I'm incredibly excited when I heard about what was going to be happening. I think it's going to be a really great show. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, my beautiful guests. Every single time I'm on the show, I have beautiful guests, Chief Rohan and Chief Oju. I had a really great time talking about artificial intelligence with y'all today. I learned a lot. I hope the people watching learned a lot as well. Thank you to the people who were donating, pledging, continuing to share this. This is going to stay up on YouTube. Keep sharing it, keep donating, keep pledging. But make sure you tune back in for our final episode again, and also join Black Hammer and all of our other events that were just mentioned. But I think that closes out our show for today. So I think we're going to go on ahead and close it off with the land back. So let's hear it.
Land back.
Land back.